Earlier this week, a shocking video made its way onto TikTok. It showed a group of Quebec students giving a Nazi salute during class. The school north of Montreal where the incident occurred failed to act when students were filmed giving a Hitler salute, and parents and viewers alike were outraged. Now, advocates for genocide education want more to be done in schools in order for children to understand the gravity of their actions. Now, yesterday, the Foundation for Genocide Education held its annual event to raise awareness, launching their first ever pedagogical guide for high school teachers in Quebec to teach the history of 9 significant genocides of the 20th century. Heidi Berger joins us on the line, founder and president of the Foundation for Genocide Education. Heidi, welcome to the program.
Good morning. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I would like first to talk about your reaction when you saw this video, or maybe you've only seen the screen. I don't know if you've seen the video or screen caps of the video, or you've read the descriptions, which are just kind of horrifying that this could happen today in Quebec. What was your reaction when you first heard or saw this video?
I've seen everything. It was shocking, but definitely not surprising. We get many calls about many incidents very much like this, and it's more prevalent than what people think. And it's scary. But the foundation's philosophy is there's a fire and we're constantly putting out the fires. We have to be more proactive to prevent these things from happening by educating students about genocide.
Where do you think the failures are in this? You know, and I know you can go into the classroom. There's a teacher in this classroom. It's in the video. You can see there's a teacher there. We're told that it was the substitute teacher. Like, that matters. It doesn't matter if it's substitute teacher or regular teacher. You'd think someone would stop this there. When you go down the list of failures for this to happen, why don't we talk a bit about that? What are the failures that happened here for students to think this is okay?
First of all, I honestly don't think that this particular teacher or other teachers that see this happening and don't know what to do, I personally don't think they have never been trained to react or even how to teach why this is happening. To teach students, that this leads to extremely disruptive behavior, and it's a lack of training and education of teachers. So, listen, we've come this far. Now we have a guide that's available to every high school teacher in English and French, to every ethics teacher, second language teacher. It's on a silver platter. They have video instruction. They have testimonials, teacher training that's now being offered at the Holocaust Museum and elsewhere in Quebec by the government. It's time now that teachers really embrace this and start teaching and be comfortable teaching genocide, the steps leading to genocide. And in doing that, the students develop critical thinking, and they can therefore understand that this is wrong. They understand racism and intolerance. This is going to cause a change in attitude to address racism. There has to be a change.
So, Heidi, it's interesting because you sort of think that the new generation, when you see how they post on social media, it seems like we've never had a generation that is more hypersensitive to racism. So what explains this blind spot here when it comes to things like this, like a Nazi salute in class? It would seem like this is a generation that's so super tuned to racism.
I think because they consider they're normalizing this type of behavior, and it's almost like become trendy because of social behavior, and they're not knowledgeable about the facts. These kids don't understand what the outcome is of displaying this behavior. So it's like almost, this is so cool to do. This is normalizing, a Nazi salute. I was recently in a school after giving a presentation based on my late mom's testimonial, and students were coming up to me and telling me that swastikas had been drawn on the school desks. They alerted the teacher, and the teacher said, okay, sure, just remove them. No, just remove them. And that was the end of the action taken. But if the teacher had been more knowledgeable, more trained, it could have been a teachable moment if the teacher was informed on how to address the situation. So my hope is this guide that is now out, we're going to have a campaign in September to make teachers aware that this guide is available on a silver platter. We're making it as easy as possible for teachers to teach genocide and racism and intolerance, and hopefully the situation will improve.
So we're with Heidi Berger, founder and president of the Foundation for Genocide Education. Heidi, in this instance, these kids in Rawdon, you mentioned teachable moments, right? So how would you handle these students? Like, what do you think should happen to these students? You know, is it punishment or education? Do you say students that participate in this, they need a suspension along with more education? Or how would you approach this as a teachable moment in this instance?
No punishment. No punishment. I think it's a question of educating them. You know what I would like the most? They should go to the Holocaust Museum. The whole class should go to the Holocaust Museum. And where they could learn something quickly, and where they could learn and take a tour of the museum, where they could listen to a survivor. We send children of survivors into schools to talk, but we can't go to every single school. But in this instance, it's educating them, is getting together in a room and all the students and showing the effect of what they're doing. So to me, that definitely not punishment, but really to point out what they're doing and the consequences.
And Heidi, for the pedagogical guide and teaching this in the classroom, where do you think that should go? Does it go into history classes? What part of the curriculum should this type of education end up in?
Okay, so the guide is meant for grade 10 and 11. It's now part of a compulsory course called Contemporary World, which is in grade 11. So it's now a section. There used to be one paragraph only, and now they have a full guide, with a comparative analysis of 9 genocides. And so it could go in that history course, it could go in their ethics course, and it could go into second language teaching courses as well. So it's very applicable to those 3 areas. But the teacher, so they have video instruction on how to use the guide. They have links to testimonials from each genocide, and there's teacher training now that's going to be offered on how to use the guide.
And that's part of it too, right? Because the teachers need to know how to do it as well, how to integrate it. This is on a subject like this.
100%. And I can tell you that there was a teacher training offered in English in April. We couldn't fill the demand. There were so many teachers that sent emails. We only had space for a certain number of teachers, so we've spoken to the Ministry of Education, and we've asked them to add on more teacher training throughout the year. Part of it will be done at the Holocaust Museum, part elsewhere in Quebec, and that's very an integral part about it.
Heidi, thank you so much for coming on this morning to discuss this. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
That's Heidi Berger, founder and president of the Foundation for Genocide Education.